And now, updating the factions for round 2. Looks like we're going to have the Dark Elves for Prussian Prince. So he'll be taking him on this time. We'll give him Malekith. And then we have Croisantaubert with Bretonnia. So look at that, guys. They're just swapping now. So time to see if Croisantaubert can beat the Dark Elves, similar to how Prussian Prince did it, or if this is going to be a 2-0. So, where are you at, my Bretonians? All right. Well, with that, let's go ahead and load into the battle. Hold'em Clump on the Dark Elf left flank lost them a lot of momentum. Absolutely, Buggeroth. There was a lot of clumping with the Cav there. Peters got caught. Yeah. Is Loker better in that matchup? Smith? I'm not sure. I think Malekith definitely has a place in that matchup, but Loker is a bit more stable in combat, I suppose. And here we go, guys. Going into the next match right now. Let me throw this up here. We got Prussian Prince with his Dark Elves. 3 Repeater Crossbows up front. The Slaanesha's Harvesters back here. 2 units of Cold One Knights. 2 Dread Spears and 2 Bleak Swords. Now, what he sacrificed for ground forces, he invested into the sky. So he has a Black Dragon and then another Black Dragon being ridden by Malekith. Now, these going to have the Gaze of Malice, Stand Your Ground, yeah, as well as Soul Stealer, Word of Pain, and that is it. So, coming over here, we're going to see the Bretonian forces, and Croissant is going to be bringing a very strong Air Force himself, which may prove to be a tough thing for our Dark Elf player to deal with here. So we're going to see a single unit of Peasant Mob up front. We're going to have 2 Men-at-Arms up front as well. He's then going to have 4 units of Spearmen at Arms. We're going to have 3 units of Peasant Bowmen, all of them just the regular variant. Got the Holy Wardens of Lama Santal. I can't speak French, so forgive me, Sifos. And then we are going to have a cavalry force consisting of Questing Knights. So 2 Questing Knights, as well as a unit of Knights Errant being the defenders of the Fleur de Lis. A beautiful unit indeed. Now, up in the air, we got some Pegasus Knights, 2 of them to be precise, and they will be accompanied by Alberic de Bordelou. He is going to be having the Wrath of Manon, Heroic Killing Blow, Foe Seeker, as well as the Braid of Bordelou, giving that bonus versus large and leadership to all the units in the 40-meter radius. Damsel of Life with Regrowth and Earthblood on the ground, and that rounds out our 2 players' forces, and it's time to see what happens next. Thanks for answering that question there, Falcon. Okay, so here we go. Repeater Crossbows coming out to threaten the defenders of the Fleur de Lis, who will promptly be pulled back by Croissant. I think that's a wise decision. Don't want to let any early damage off for free. And I think the Dark Elves right now, clearly the way they have to play this is support their Air Force at all times with their ground missile forces, the Repeater Crossbows, because in an aerial combat, they will lose against 2 Pegasus Knights in Alberic. I have no doubt. So really going to see what happens here, how the Dark Elves are going to adjust to face this very strong Air Force. And look at this, guys. I didn't realize, but one of the Peasant Bowmen has Pox Arrows with their poison effect. Now, poison, a wonderful tool to use. You got that debuff to armor piercing, missile damage, speed, weapon damage, armor piercing damage, and missile damage. So it's just a useful thing to have. Not only does it slow down the unit a bit, allowing it to more easily get caught more easily, but it also just helps in combat if you're constantly applying that debuff to them. Lets your units win it a lot more convincingly. But look at this. In comes Prussian Prince's Cold One Knights diving into the Peasant Bowmen, but they're going to get countered effectively by the Questing Knights, and now there's more Questing Knights coming in to dive into combat against them. Defenders of the Fleur de Lis were diving in over here, but now they're going to be pulling out, catching an Earthblood upgraded as they pull out. And the Black Dragon and the Cold One Knight's going to go into that pretty much uncontested so far. Okay, so here it goes. Pegasus Knights and Alberic diving in on top of the Black Dragon. Defenders of the Fleur de Lis diving in as well. And I have to say, I'm a bit concerned about this engagement. I don't know how it's going to work out. Although, looking at the Coldwell Knights, they're taking a ton of damage very, very quickly. Oh, wow. The Wrath of Manon going through and just shredding through those Bleak Swords. And, yeah, Terror kicking in on these Pegasus Knights, though. Pegasus Knights taking a ton of damage. Malekith taking a ton of damage. And, yeah, this has been just a crazy engagement that I can't quite get a good read of what's happening, to be honest. It just seems like these guys dove in and started taking a ton of damage for some reason. Malekith just losing so much health. Soul Stealer is going to be going down, but it looks like the Sineshi Harvesters were the ones who cast that down. And they are currently terror routing at the moment. So very, very close battle, but it does look like Bretonnians have just caught a huge break there. And now Malekith is just not doing well. Alberic going to dive in on top of him, and that's probably going to be a GG as we see Malekith get knocked out. And then without Malekith, there's no magic for the Dark Elves. The Black Dragon is unsupported. We're going to see the Defenders of the Fleur de Lis diving in the wedge formation, pinning this Black Dragon in place. And now it seems like the Black Dragon is just going to be killed off here as well. And Repeater Crossbows still laying down a ton of damage, but with all of the single entities taken care of, there's no way these Repeater Crossbows are going to get through all of this peasant for all these peasant forces. So a GG, and it looks like Bretonnia will win the day once again, this time being brought by Croissant, and Prussian Prince will be losing with his Dark Elves. Because yeah, now comes all the peasant fire, and look at them just get completely smashed. The army loss is kicking in, and that's going to be a GG. We're going to an ace match, ladies and gentlemen. I think it might have been canceled, yeah, Bergroth, because I think it was the Slaanesha's Harvesters who cast it, and then they got routed. I think it was the Soul Stealer, from the Slaanesha's Harvesters. I may be wrong, though. Does this mean it's High Elves versus High Elves? Potentially. What it means is it could be Dark Elf versus High Elf, Dark Elf versus Dark Elf, or High Elf versus High Elf. So we'll see if it's a mirror match or not. But a great game to both players, and another pretty convincing victory for the Bretonnians there. So let's go here, update that scoreboard to reflect that Croissant was able to pull off a victory here with his Bretonnian forces. So round 2 going to Croissant, and time to see who wins the ace match. So for this ace match, we're going to see the High Elves versus the Dark Elves. So no mirror match. We're going to have an ancient rivalry match of the High Elves versus the Dark Elves.